Welcome to today's episode. I am your host, Heather Ashley, and today we're diving into three fascinating topics that explore the realms of consciousness as well as awakening. We will be talking about Christ consciousness today, as well as the process of waking up to your psychic abilities, and then the shift from the third density into the fifth density. These concepts can be both mystical and transformative. So let's unpack them together. Whether you're just beginning to explore these topics or you're already on your spiritual journey, this episode is definitely going to be for you. So, first, let's start with talking about um, let's find out what consciousness is. So, the definition of consciousness is, before we dive into this topic or into the topics of Christ consciousness and psychic abilities and things like that, it's important for us to define consciousness itself. So, in its simplest form, consciousness is the state of being aware of or and being able to think about one's own existence, thoughts, and surroundings. It's the awareness that allows us to perceive the world, our emotions, and our experiences. But consciousness is not just about awareness, it is also about the level of perception and the depth of understanding we can access. It ranges from the ordinary awareness of our daily lives to higher states of consciousness, um, where we can, access spiritual truths as well as, intuitive insights, and even extrasensory perceptions. Consciousness is the fundamental essence that shapes our very reality and is the key to spiritual awakening itself and transformation. Christ consciousness and the collective consciousness is what we're going to go into next. So, what is Christ consciousness? Well, Christ consciousness is often misunderstood as being solely related to the figure of Jesus Christ specifically. However, it's a much broader concept. It represents an elevated state of awareness where unconditional love, compassion, and unity are experienced at the highest level. It's a state of being, that aligns with divine wisdom, unconditional forgiveness, as well as the human potential of or the highest potential of human consciousness. Think of it as a divine blueprint, if you will, for living a life full of love and understanding, as well as transcending fear and ego and separation. It's about embodying the frequency of unconditional love and unity with all beings. It's also referred to as the Christed self, which is the highest state of the soul's potential. So now let's talk a little bit about Christ consciousness, as a tool for the collective consciousness, if you will. So what is the collective consciousness? Well, this is the idea that humanity shares a collective mind, a pool of shared thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. Christ consciousness plays a very critical role in the evolution of the collective consciousness. As more individuals awaken to this Christed state of being, we begin to, elevate the collective consciousness, helping humanity shift from fear based patterns to love based ones. When one person operates from Christ consciousness, they contribute positively to the energetic field of the collective, creating ripples of change. In this way, our individual awakening helps to shift the global consciousness, the collective consciousness. So now let's talk a little bit about, the process of waking up to your psychic abilities. So we are all born with the psychic abilities, everybody. Many people assume that psychic abilities are something that's rare or something, that only a select few people are born with. So they're gifted. But the truth is, we're all born with these psychic abilities. Every person that's on the planet. These abilities are a natural part of the human experience, as we all have a connection to higher consciousness and to universal energy. As children, many of us, we have intuitive abilities, such as a strong sense of knowing, or vivid dreams, or even awareness of energies in our environment or the people around us. However, as we grow older, we are conditioned by societal norms. Many of us lose connection to these abilities as they are not always nurtured or encouraged in modern culture. In fact, they're most of the time frowned upon. But the potential for these abilities, it always remains within us regardless, no matter how much is done to suppress it or keep it quiet. So, how did we acquire these psychic abilities? Well, over time, our psychic abilities, they basically, they became dormant or suppressed, if you will. But that doesn't mean that they're gone. That doesn't mean that they left us. The process of waking up to your psychic abilities involves reconnecting with that initiate part of you. As we begin to raise our vibration and our consciousness, these abilities start to reawaken. This process is often triggered by a spiritual crisis or even a newfound truth that, you once believed wasn't, wants to be true, but is not actually factual. It's also, happens through spiritual growth or self awareness and the healing of emotional and energetic blockages through practices, such as meditation or energy work, as well as connecting to the higher self, we can gradually unlock our full psychic potential. So, what does any of this have to do with, with Jesus Christ or anything like that? Because you're probably thinking, well, the Bible, says that, psychic abilities is of the devil and all this and that. But, you know, what if I said that the Bible is not, is nothing in there is pretty accurate. So, but that's for a different episode. So now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with Jesus? Well, the connection lies in the fact that Jesus, as an enlightened being, you know, he fully embodied psychic abilities. He demonstrated deep intuition, healing powers, and the ability to connect to the spiritual realm, and even the power to perform miracles. Now, these abilities are not exclusive to just him. They are part of the Christ consciousness that we all have access to. When we awaken to our own Christ consciousness, we tap into the same divine wisdom, love, and abilities that Jesus embodied. He was an example of what we can all become when we align with the divine source, which is the source creator, or God, Buddha, Allah, you know, it's all the same being, and that's where our source of everything comes from. He is the source of all things. And if we open ourselves to higher potential, we can, tap into those abilities. Psychic abilities, therefore, are not only natural, but they are part of the spiritual awakening process that brings us closer to embodying Christ consciousness. And that brings us closer to the creator or source or God, or, you know, it puts us in a direct one-on-one connection with him. So, what are some practical tips, to develop your, psychic abilities? Um, these few tips will help you guys tremendously if you're trying to tap into your abilities. So, meditation, quieting your mind, helps you to become more attuned to subtle energies. Energy clearing is a very good way. Releasing emotional and energetic blockages make it easier to receive clear information. And then trusting your intuition. Start by listening to your gut feelings and your inner knowing. Everybody has one. Grounding is the perfect way as well. Staying connected to the earth helps you stay balanced, and it helps you stay clear while you're working with higher frequencies. The best way to ground is to walk around outside barefooted. Or you could also eat red foods like tomatoes or strawberries or apples, or even wear red clothing. All of those things helps with keeping your root chakra in grounded and where it needs to be. So now let's talk a little bit about shifting from the third density to the fifth density and what that exactly means. So if you're a star seed, like a lot of people on the earth is right now, like myself is as well, understanding densities and dimensions is very important when you're trying to understand, what it all means to shift from the third density into the fifth. So let's break this down. In spiritual terms, density refers to the level of consciousness or awareness that a being or a collective uh, experiences. The third density is the realm we are most familiar with. It's the physical world where we experience time, space, and duality. In 3D, our reality is based on separation, fear, and survival instincts. However, in the fifth density, on the other hand, it is often described as a higher plane of consciousness where unity, love, and peace prevail. It's a dimension where beings operate from heart-centered awareness, and the dualistic nature of existence dissolves into oneness. So now, what does the shift from the third to the fifth density actually look like? And is it literal? Well, shifting from the third density to the fifth density, it doesn't happen overnight, and nor is it a physical location that we travel to. It's simply a shift in consciousness. People who are transitioning into the fifth density will experience an increase in their vibrational frequency. This means they may become more aware of spiritual truths, feel more connected to nature, and experience greater harmony in their relationships. Because after all, we do vibrate at specific frequencies. As this shift happens, you may notice that the fear based thought patterns of the third density no longer serve you. You might begin to feel less, attached to material things. And instead, you may focus more on your spiritual growth and connection, as well as service to others. All of these are very common things to experience whenever you're shifting from one density to the next. Um, here, excuse me, here are a few signs that you might be experiencing this shift. So, if you find yourself feeling like a heightened sensitivity to certain energies or emotions, or even seeing a lot of synchronicities, I know I've been seeing a lot of angel numbers recently. Um, a deep yearning, if you're also having a deep yearning for truth, freedom, or inner peace, as well as you may start to shift away from like fear based thinking to rather heart centered thinking. The ability to manifest more quickly and your vibration increases will is also a common sign that you're shifting and feeling more connected to all life and experiencing deeper empathy for others. All of those are very much signs that you could be ascending. You might also experience ascension symptoms such as physical tiredness, emotional purging, and sudden shifts in perspective as you adapt to these higher frequencies. So how do we navigate this shift? What's the key to getting to doing this? Well, the key to navigating this shift is to remain grounded and balanced. Practices like meditation, spending time in nature, and working with your energy field can help ease the transition. And it's also important to let go of attachments that are to old belief systems, like such as in the government will protect you always and stuff, and things like that. Or all belief systems, that were your old belief systems that no longer serve your growth. And remember, this shift is not a linear process. So be patient and gentle with yourself as you adjust to these new frequencies because it can get overwhelming at times. If it ever gets overwhelming or too overwhelming, just ask your spirit guides to pull it back just a tad, and they will. Thank you for so much for tuning into today's episode as we explored these profound concepts of Christ consciousness and awakening to your psychic abilities and the shift to the fifth density. These ideas are transformative and they can help guide us on our individual and collective paths towards higher consciousness. So if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Path of Awakening, and please share this video with as many people as you can. And then please leave me a comment and let me know what you guys thought and what topic you might want to hear an episode on next. Until then, stay mindful and stay connected and keep expanding your awareness. Until next time, love and light to you all. Bye.